Hello, everybody. Welcome in. How's it going? Abra, Zach, Shadows. Yeah, I do need that like stat, so I need it by tonight, preferably. Starground tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is the big update. It's also the Steam Winter Sale. The game will be on sale. But yeah. Hey, bro. Welcome. Before we start, quick little announcement. We have 117 new songs. Zach made a big list of some songs, and now they're in. So, yeah. So be on the lookout for the new songs. You get a big thumbs up, an official. Big boy kudos if you spot which ones are new. As soon as I'm home from work, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, just you know, make sure, because I will need it. I mean, worst case scenario, I can use the unfinished one, but, you know. First one was new? Yes, it was. It was new. Yeah, I don't know exactly, to be honest, where all of the songs are from, because I didn't pick them out. But I know some of them are Undertale and Deltarune, and I think some are Amori. I saw some from Off, I think. Yeah, in the overlay. Not in Starground. No, that would never happen. Yeah, that would be insane. But anyways, today is the final day of working on 0.15. I finally figured out our multiplayer woes, guys. So, that's finally working, thank God. All I had to do is this. This is the secret to everything. So basically, if we are the authority, go ahead and set our visibility true for everybody. Otherwise, down here, we just say, as soon as that player is ready, it sends a signal to this player to set their visibility for that player, if that makes sense. So, here, let's open up Krita. If you recognize the obscure ones, you get 5 Zac coins. Let's freaking go, dude. Yeah, essentially now the order of operations is players already exist on the server, new guy joins. These players here, they don't start syncing data until the players here exist over here for this guy. And then this guy's like, hey, you exist now? Sends data over to these guys and says, hey, you can start sending data back to me. That's how it works now. So it was actually that issue that one person was saying with the synchronizers just deciding to never work again. That was what was happening. So, but now it's all fixed. We're gaming. It's epic. So some of this code can be merged. Yeah, we're good to go. So now we're just going to really focus on all of the final little last bits that we need to get everything working as intended. Some people have pointed out some bugs, which I do very much appreciate. So we're going to go fix some of those. At least the easy ones, so I can get them done easily. I think most things are playable. I haven't noticed any like major issues with anything. There are some things that do need some pizzazz. There's like the Drog, I think, doesn't have sounds yet. And same with the cat boss enemy. We need to actually draw the cat boss trophy. That's something that I just haven't done yet. Or the monument, whatever, you know. There is still more things I would have liked to get done, but you know what? It's okay. You can't get it all done. That's one of the things you have to realize about game development is eventually you've got to cut it somewhere, you know. I could work on the game forever, and it still will never be quote unquote completely finished. Could just no sleep allowed. That's crazy. I don't know. I've done that before, and it's just it kind of sucks. I don't like staying up super late to try and get last minute things added. I'd rather just do it as another update after 0.15, you know. The green guy's stomp attack should be explosion like particles, but area of particles that go up a bit. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, yeah, Minecraft Maze effect. We could work on stuff like that. Will the next planet be an automation or dungeon planet? The next planet is going to be the final automation planet. At least for now. I think it could be neat one day. And again, this is not like a confirmation on this, but to add in a new solar system. It'd be pretty fun. That would just allow a ton of new automation planets and dungeons and stuff, so maybe. But not anytime soon. Where's the cat boss? Should be right here. Oh, here he is. I don't know if I'll ever do DLC. I don't know. Something about DLC to me always just feels kind of scummy. I don't know. I mean, it really depends on how it's done. Like, I think, for example, the DLC for Factorio is one of the ones that I think is very justified, right? Because that DLC is so enormous. It's like basically just quadrupled the amount of content in the game. So that's one of those cases where I feel like that's completely fair to charge extra. But unless a new content update to Starground was to that scale, which I don't know if it will be, I just feel like it's like not fair. I don't know. You know what I mean? We'll see. But yeah, it's gonna be the next automation planet. We're planning on doing like quantum technology and all that kind of stuff, so I think it could be pretty fun. So I'm just figuring out like where, you know, the boundaries of this are. Let's see, let's just do... Now it's like that. I think I want to make this look, I guess, like that. It's like stupid, but we'll make it better. So I know you never played the game. Did you hear that Silksong got a new free? Oh, it's free DLC? Yeah, I heard about it. I didn't realize it was free. That's pretty cool. You don't really see a lot of companies do that enough, I feel like. I mean, obviously, I see that all the time with indie stuff, but like, it's larger companies like that, it's always kind of a surprise, but a very welcome one. It's pretty cool. Let's see. So now I just got to figure out like the eyes and stuff. They should be evil. So Ramos, thank you for the spin. I want to make this look like the guy, but without like, I don't know. It's always a little tricky because it's like, it's a much smaller sprite than his actual head. So I don't want to overcomplicate the details. It's always like something easy to do, right? But I feel like honestly this is pretty good right there. I want to keep it very readable. So. And this eye is like funny. So maybe we do that. That's probably good enough. I mean, the Silksong creator's got a lot of freaking money from Hollow Knight Silksong. Oh, I'm sure. They probably have millions and millions of dollars, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Starground made that much money, I would just... Well, even if it doesn't, I think I still am not planning on doing any paid DLC. I mean, free DLC is fine, but I don't know, I feel like it depends on, like, what it is. Most of the time, I would say, why make it a DLC and not just an update? I mean, I guess maybe for building up hype or whatever, it would be worth it. Who knows? These guys up here. But yeah, that's pretty cool, though. See. So I think like that is what we want. We could even sprinkle in a couple highlights. Oh yeah. Whoa. This is not... That threw me for a spin on this song. Yeah. I was like, whoa, what is going on? I thought the file got corrupted for a minute. I was like, what? I know this song, but I don't actually know what it's called. Alright, let's save this as... Let's see, I actually have to name... Because what's the name of the boss again? It's like Caligo, Chunk, Bonk, Baroness. Let me go look. Oh, the world revolving, right. Let's see, I'll just call this like Baroness. Is Hamlet description not working? Interesting. I'll take a look at that. I might have either did the key wrong or I just didn't. I don't know. So .south, thank you for the follow. Monument. Okay, then we just have to make the item. What is this? Don't tell me to save that one. Monument. Okay. What am I making? Right now we are making some monuments that you can place down for killing a boss. This is something that I've done for all the other bosses, so I figured why not. Now this one is going to be really hard to do. Because it's extremely tiny, as you can see. That one I just made like a square. So this one literally just has to be an icon. It's gonna be hard. Yeah, this is really hard. I guess like that. It looks terrible. Let's see. The blacksmith shop is not working correctly. When you select something, the quest requirements and rewards appear. Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll take a look at that right now. Let me just draw this really quick. You know, I think I need to take a different approach with this. What if I just went... You know? I don't know how else I'm supposed to represent a cat. I don't know, man. It's tricky. I'm just messing around. Let's see. Because it needs to have like a nose. It's really hard. I guess we could do this. That looks stupid. It's the big grin. Yeah, we could just do :3 sideways for fun. I would be okay with that. Yeah, is this so small? It's like almost impossible to represent. So why not? Trophy. All right. Now let's just go add this in really quick. Duplicate Dreadcap Monument. Call it Baroness Chalk Caligo Monument. And then I need to work on all the translation keys and stuff. There's our funny guy. There's that. I don't think we have anything weird in here. I don't even know why this has an inventory component. It shouldn't. It's quite odd, but I don't want to make a game-breaking change right now, so... we'll keep it for now. Okay, we got that. Now, back into the buildings table. Excuse me. Thank you, thank you. New longest ID in Starground? Maybe. Oh, by the way, Zach, I totally forgot to send you that footage. Sorry about that. Of the boss. I think I forgot, right? I need to do that. Just had so much going on, trying to fix multiplayer and everything. It's just been a nightmare. So when I got it, yeah, I'll do that soon. Monument. I need to put these in as I go because I do not want to forget. New road dropped. Over mouse. Bruh. I guess I don't put their extended titles in here. It's fine. Okay. I think that's everything in here. I just need to change the item. Oops. I think that's this trophy. Yeah, this should be a trophy. Okay, save that. Go into the items table. Excuse me, guys, my throat. I don't know what's going on. All right. Now change this one. Trophy. Alrighty, should be everything. The last thing we have to do now is just make it so she actually drops it. Let's see, I think Spore does, right? And drop. Drop. Let's go over to cat boss. I don't know if I have drop as a function yet. I do. I just don't have anything in it. So we'll drop some coins. Let's drop like multiple coins. And we're gonna wait on that stuff, unfortunately. We didn't get time for that. Drop the trophy. Alright. We should be good to go. We'll go test it and make sure everything works. I think we're good. Let's see, Death End only happens on the server, right? It should. Let me see how other sections handle it. Huh. Seems like it just straight up calls Death End. Unless Start Explosions is... Nope, that happens for everybody, so I do need to make sure, yeah, if is server. Let's see. Also, this should not run queue free for for clients, because that's going to cause a crash. Probably. Or at least just some errors. Since all of these guys are in the spawner table, so let's be careful about that. I still don't know if Spore works with multiplayer. That's something that we need to take a look at. So. And copy that there. Same with Caloris. We should be good now. Alright, let's do some testing now, see if we can fix some more bugs. So let's see. Blacksmith shop is not working correctly. Yeah, so let's take a look at that. And also apparently the ice amulet description. Oh yeah, I just never did it. So let's add that on. I don't know if I have a ice amulet drops anywhere. I need to check what's in our loot table for Aligo. Okay, it does, but I do want to drop more things in there. Let's see, where's our normal descriptions? Let's do it right here. All right. Now let's look for where our ice amulet code is. It's a damage block. So it's a 30% chance to block. 30% chance to be blocked. Alrighty. Let's get the game opened. Okay, so let's go check out the boss. Or not the boss. The, you know, whatever. The funny guy. The blacksmith. Then we'll connect on multiplayer. I was meaning to make sure that this stuff works too, so manual connection, because I haven't been checking that since we've been just trying to make Steam work. Alright, so let's go to the Space Hub. And I am seeing 5 gabillion errors. It's because the user... I forgot to change the name. Okay, let's try that again. So you're saying the... So what exactly with the blacksmith? So you're saying when you select something... Which I'm doing right now... When you select something, the quest requirements and rewards appear. I don't see that. It's very odd. How are you getting that to happen? Doesn't seem any way of selecting quests. Huh. As far as I can tell, everything seems pretty normal. Unless there's another way that you're causing that error to happen. I'm not sure. I mean, these guys seem okay. shows the requirements and stuff. And then if I go back over here, those go away. So it should be okay. I think we're fine. I don't know. I can't seem to replicate that issue. I'm not sure how to do that. Seems okay with that guy. Basala seems fine. That's pretty odd. Let me know if you figure anything else out about that issue. Just doesn't seem like I'm able to replicate it. I might just be missing something. Apparently also there was some issues about placing down the new flooring stuff. Oh. That was weird. I mean, I can't seem to replicate that, but... maybe it's a multiplayer thing. Let's do set them to creative mode. Seems normal to me. Not seeing any bugs there. So, yeah, I don't know. Can't replicate that one either. Apparently there's like a weird issue where the tiles were offset. I don't know how that happened, but... Also, one other thing I needed to fix, which I accidentally did somehow, is you can't click B anymore to open up the building menu when you're building something, so let's go fix that. I'm trying to remember where that is. I think it's in, like, I thought I made that a new function, like process UI or something. Yeah, I probably have it on toggle UI. There we go. All right. So all of this stuff can toggle is all of this. So I guess we don't really need to worry about build preview being visible. We can just get rid of that. Now let's see. Yeah. I mean, it should be fine. You don't need to... if you're building something, you press E. It doesn't really matter. As long as it's setting my build preview back to, like, going away, which is what it's doing. So, I think we're fine. Because when we say toggle UI in here, it's going to say conveyor line visible is false. Calculate UI open. Just going to do all that stuff. Open UI, which right here says build preview visible false. So I think we're okay. Seems to be fine. All right, well, that one's been corrected. Let's keep going through here. Let's see. Frequent crashes and minimalist saves started today in the experimental. I'm just reading the Starground general chat. This happened around the time I deconstruct a building. It's odd. Logs. Photos. Much appreciated. All right. I think that's like, there are still some other minor bugs, but like, I think I've tackled all the main ones that'll probably cause issues. Just looking through here. Okay. One thing I've been meaning to fix, it's kind of a weird bug, I don't know exactly what's causing it, but sometimes when you go, like, if you say, load up a save, let's go load up one that has cheats enabled, like ABBA 4, right? This is a funny one that we should be able to fix, I think. So we're in, you can see we have cheats enabled. If we now quit and then go load up a new save, it'll have cheats enabled on by default here. Which, I don't think it should work like that, because I imagine that could be a little frustrating if you start a new world not realizing that you enabled cheats, you know? So I think it would be better to always have that default to off, even if the last save you had cheats on. So this is an interesting bug. What is this all about? Invalid access property key ID on an object dictionary. So this is getting conveyor. We say ID is that. We get inventory data. Is this even, was this save made before IDs were even a thing? Because that's pretty wild. What is data? Okay. Not a bug I really need to worry about. That save must just be ancient. Nobody should have saves like that anymore. Alright, here is the crash logs of that one bug with destroying buildings. So let's download those. Take a look at all of these. I would like to figure these out. Give me just 1 second here. These open. No, don't reload it. All right. So nothing immediately obvious in here. It does complain about the invalid comments, but I don't think it really matters. Let's try this next one. This is odd. Attempted to next an object of type object into a type dictionary.key, which does not inherit from node 2D. That's kind of a funny bug. I don't know where that's happening. This one again, this is nothing. And this is the same error here. You know, I statically type these dictionaries in here because I figured, why not? But now I'm realizing that maybe it's not a good idea. Because it seems like it's causing issues, so I'm just going to get rid of all the static typing on that stuff. I know it's, seems silly, but if I ever call like get with like a null value, it's probably going to crash the game, which sometimes I do, so I don't want to, cause issues, right? Because I'm not sure where those incidents are happening. We'll have to figure that out. But for now, let's just untype any of these dictionaries. It sucks, but it is what it is. Now, tiles table, actually, I could probably keep that one. Because we've been messing with that one and it hasn't caused any issues. All those other ones can go away. And that'll probably fix some issues with that. Hangs on the mining sound. Yeah, my guess is that it just had to do with the buildings table. Which I thought that I already untyped, though, didn't I? Or unless it was still typed. Let's see. Buildings table. It was already untyped, which is kind of odd. I don't know why it would be causing issues then. But somehow this is happening. I wish I knew what line of code this actually was happening on, you know? Because this doesn't really tell me. It tells me the core things, but not like... Unfortunately, not the actual line. Which is unfortunate. But it sounds like when you're breaking a... stone or like anything that, or like a building. So I wonder why breaking a building would cause everything to die. Let's go look inside of the buildable script. Yeah, it's a little funny that statically typing things can actually just cause bugs. Let's see. We should have on hit. I guess that would be up inside of breakable. Which extends node 2D. I kind of want to see what scripts inherit breakable. View owners. Okay, nothing itself owns breakable. But it's probably buildable. Let's see, view owners. Okay, none of that either. What extends buildable? Because I know we have a couple things in here that are not actually static bodies. The only thing I could think of is that breakable is technically just a node 2D and not a static body 2D. So it could have something to do with that, possibly. Because, like, bounceable, for example, I don't know what... Like, we look at the beach ball. I think I call it pong ball, that's seen, yeah. Is that a static body? It is. So I'm just wondering why I don't even have breakable as a static body then, right? Because is there any scene in the game that's not a static body, that is a buildable object, you know? I'm not sure. I must have done that at some point for a reason. Pretty sure the button pedestal is static body, yeah. Spaceship. Battery bridge. I should just delete that. Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree. Generator, lamp, land tile. Whoa. Got a gust of wind that just blew a bunch of stuff around. Interior ruins, I think, are static body 2Ds. Practically everything is. I mean, there might be like, no, even all the resources should be too. I mean, I could change the breakable scene into a static body 2D. Not sure though. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Does the game force 1080p? No, the game has. So, match. Enter solution is. I also have a 1440p monitor. But technically, it's actually designed for it. Well, really, it was sensor implemented. I can't type, a calling system for 0.15, hence, which is the reason for the buildings going invisible. I'll increase the margin distance so it's not as obvious. All right. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to do. There's like a encoding here. I set the margin to 64. I now realize that should probably be 128 since some buildings are much larger. But that should hopefully fix most of that. And then same with the conveyors too. I think I have the margin like I do have a 128 margin here too, so should be good. I don't think we'll notice any issues with a margin at 128, so. Oops, it did load. I should have just waited. Well, let's see. There's another crash here. Oh, there's nothing there. It's so weird. It doesn't like have anything in here that would that alarms me. I don't see any errors. I have no idea why breaking. Odd. So breaking a building. Was invalid zone property or key entities table with a value of type dictionary and a base object. Uh-oh. Is it because inside of entities table I statically typed it? I did. You know what? I don't want to backtrack. We're going to statically type all these dictionaries, and we're just going to find out which ones are causing issues. Because it's like, we should be able to statically type this stuff, you know? There's probably just a couple cases where I'm not getting the proper thing. So I think instead what we should do is just make a function to handle it, right? Because like in here we have get item data, And this is just a super simple one here. If item data, basically if we don't have a valid key, then we just return this. And we just need to do the exact same thing with, you know, the other things. So like get building data. And then just say building ID. And just copy this stuff, basically. So if we don't have a building ID, just return null. I don't know if it's going to let me do that. Nope. I'll just return an empty dictionary. And then here, we'll return building ID, empty dictionary. Building data. So anywhere now in the entire game where we mention get building data or whatever, we're gonna have to change. So like same buildings table, this should be typed, which it's not for some reason. Yeah, we might as well just start being good about our types. All right, so let's see here. So let's just search anywhere we say global.buildings table. There's gonna be a lot of these, probably. Actually, not as many as I expected, though. Am I trying to get buildings in the item table? What do you mean by that? Where am I doing that? Oh, I probably just didn't update the... Oops. No, you're right. I need to say, yeah. Buildings table, like it. Alright. So back in here, instead of saying this now, we're gonna say mod API get building data. Now the thing is what does an empty dictionary evaluate to? Does it evaluate to false? Because that would be ideal. I mean, it's not a big deal. I could just say, you know, is empty or whatever. Godot, what does empty dictionary evaluate to? I mean, I could easily just test this really quick. Let's just do that. Go into process, and then if I just print, you know, bool empty dictionary, we can see what it says it is. It would make sense if it evaluated to an empty dictionary, but and that doesn't actually work. Let's just do this. If that print true. So if it doesn't print true, then we know that it should evaluate to false. Okay, so it does evaluate to true. So we will have to change the way in which we, you know, check it. So back to global.buildings table. So we can't say if building, we have to now say if building.is not empty, which is fine. I should have been doing it this way probably anyways, you know, because it's just a more proper way of retrieving this stuff. So it's fine. Then right here, this is whatever this node is, crafting menu controller. So now we're going to say mod API get building data. So that'll just return an empty dictionary if no building is found, which is a good idea. Because then when we say like get and stuff on this, it's less error prone because this will still work. You can't call get though on like an empty node, right? Otherwise, like here, building data, it'll just be an empty dictionary, so it should be fine. So same here with load data. I'm gonna say that. And there might be places in here where I don't fully use that everywhere. We'll see. But I'm just trying to think if there's anywhere in the game where it's going to be saying get with a null ID, right? Because that's kind of the thing that would cause a crash. But we'll see. Now, unfortunately, though, here, object, I could just return null if it doesn't. I'd rather have null, because then I could just say if not. You know, I'm going to try something here. Let's go back into get building data. I think I know a way I can just return null. I can just say var building data. And then regardless of what happens at the end, I just say return building data. And then I say building data is equal to that. And I think that'll let me return null. We'll see though. Excuse me, guys. And then let's just print out what happens if I call that. So get building data and then just pass in Starground poop. So it should just be returning null without any errors, which it doesn't work. So I'm just gonna not statically type this as returning a dictionary only. And then it doesn't matter. That should be fine. All I want to do is just prevent this. So last thing I want to do here, if not building data, and we just say return null. Oops, if not building ID. Otherwise, we just say return this. Kind of like what we had before. Just so that we aren't running get on this with a null ID, because that's when like the errors start. So it should be okay now. Anyways, back to where we use this function everywhere. Because now I don't want to say this. Same here. Thank you for snoozing the ad. Then load data, if load data. I just don't want to make enormous changes to all the code right now, hence the reason I'm just keeping this as returning null if it doesn't exist. Because it's going to take freaking forever to test all this stuff. Alright, we should be good now, though. This is the other one here, too. Yeah. Alright, let's go back to checking global.buildings table. I don't want to directly access those unless I'm iterating through it like this, which is totally fine because I'm just grabbing IDs. But if I'm like getting it, the data, then I don't want to run this. So like, for example, here, building data, let's do this instead. And this is add before drop. Building ID is not an empty string. And here I say if buildings table has building ID. And then I loop through that. That seems a little silly. We're just gonna do this. What script is this? Oh, this is buildable. Then we'll say if building data, and we do all this stuff. Now we just say for IN, building data right here. Add before drop. I already get building data, so I don't even really need to use this at all anymore. I can just do that. And honestly, if there's no building data, this object should just not exist. So you never want to create a building without an ID because it would just cause issues. So I don't even really need to check this. I'm just going to say at the very beginning, enter tree. If we don't have building data, I'm just going to say free. Like, get out of here, you know? And we'll print an error. And then I want to print a couple things here. Let's see, .format. ID and path. So now we say building ID, and do we have building path? Or path? We can just say get path, like that. Yeah, that's really what should happen here. Every single building that ever gets created has to have an ID. So if it doesn't, I just want to immediately get rid of it. Okay, anyways, back to what we were doing. Right here, building reference. I'll replace this with that one. If we don't have it, then do our thing. All right. Then this guy. So let me respond back to this. Okay. Let's respond to this. There isn't any set up to guarantee all resources right now. But it's not a bad idea. I'll write it down to take a look at in the future. Alright, we're getting there. We got this guy here. We're gonna say boom. And then here. So there's a remove conveyor. It should be fine. I mean, we're never going to have a conveyor that exists without an ID, so. broken Star Launcher here. Which, this one's actually okay. It's one of those rare times where it's fine. Probably. I mean, we could just be safe. You know. Starground building Star Launcher. If building data. And now we say for IM building data ingredients. Push back that data. Alright. Blueprint Ghost. Let's change that guy there. And I hope this fixes a lot of our issues with these crashes and stuff. Basically, it's just kind of giving me control over, like, safely accessing our data dictionary so that we don't end up with scenarios where we pass in null as our key and then it's like, hey, you can't do that. That's not the right thing, you know. That one's fine. That one's fine. And here we can say Bob. My cases like that, it should always be okay too. Like, because if you loop through all of the IDs and then it called get on it, it's guaranteed that it's not going to crash because you're only ever calling get on things that are most definitely inside of that table. But just for consistency's sake, I will, you know, also do it. So I think we should be good to go. There wasn't as many as I thought, actually, which was interesting. So... really what I need to check here is if building ID, right, is not a string. And it's the same with right here, instead of just checking not. That's what I should be doing. So we've done that. There's still a lot more things like that we grab. Because we've got like the research table and stuff like that, so... but it's fine. Oh, let's see. One challenge. We're casting on Steam at the moment. Let's go. Do I have Xanathol as a friend on Steam? I don't know. But I can find it here. Does it show the broadcast here? I'm not sure how. Oh. Yeah, I don't actually know how to view somebody's broadcast. Interesting. All right, let's hope that that fixes most of our issues with the building data. There's not a whole lot of times, I think, where I grab the other stuff not knowing if it's a valid building, you know? Oh my god. The wind is really, really blowing, guys. Oh yeah, by the way, just as a warning, I believe I shouldn't be affected, because they said I won't be, but I have extremely high winds right now in my area, so it's possible the power could go out. Hopefully that does not happen, because that would suck. But just be warned. They were actually purposely shutting down power because of the wind. So. Okay, so research table, recipe table. I mean, those are some things that I might potentially grab something bad in. But I think it's mainly with buildings. As far as I know. Let's go ahead and launch this up again now and see if everything's okay. Let's load up our funny save. Not before. We had an ad coming up. My apologies, gamers. Looks like everything is okay so far. Placing down buildings is fine. I still do see a very minor amount of snapping at the edges, which is interesting. I thought I set the margin high enough, but maybe I didn't. Maybe 128 pixels is not as much as I think it is, you know? I mean, 128 pixels should be a lot. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles. It's a pretty big buffer. Unless the way that I'm doing it is just wrong somehow. I mean, it's possible. Some margin. So this is the code that's happening in here. Because I say set box. Should be okay. At the end here, I just want to print out what is box.size. Because that maybe would help me kind of figure out what's going on here. And I want to view the original size too. I mean, it should just be... It should be different. I mean, you can see that massive increase. Adding all the margins, so... Don't know why there would be any issues here. Should be fine. Oh god, that's really lagging my game. Stop! Okay. So I think the margins are being set correctly. This is probably not quite large enough, I guess. What I want to do, kind of, is just set a larger margin while I'm moving. And then when I'm stationary, actually decrease my margin. That would probably be a good way to do it. So maybe we can have, like... I don't know why that's an export, honestly. Is that part of the issue? Is it not actually the value I think it is or something? Let's go look. It's set to 100. Okay, yeah. Honestly, these should not be exports. Okay. So it wasn't even what I thought it was. Let's now test it with the real value. But definitely, I mean, doubling the margin size should help at least, right? The only thing I would like to do is the larger the building is, the larger the margin becomes. Because it's harder to notice with the small buildings like the mover and stuff, but so it does seem like this thing is like not really working properly. You know, like that should have been already loaded in, but it's not for some reason. So that's kind of odd. I feel like there's something wrong, you know? Maybe what I need to do is actually, like, this might need to wait a frame to update or something. I mean, I don't know. It's strange, though. I say box is that. I'm referencing that same box. Maybe it's like a position issue. But I do that after I set the margins. I doubt it's a position thing, because if it was a position thing, I think we would see a difference depending on where we are here. But it seems like vertically and stuff, it's always the same. I don't know, maybe we just need to set a much larger margin. I'll set margin at 256 and see if it changes anything. I mean, that does seem to be better. But the larger the margin is, the worse our performance is, which is, you know, unfortunate. You can probably see if I do move speed 100 or whatever. So if you have insane move speed, you'll see like funny margin issues happen. I mean, the other option is to just decrease the updates between each calling pass, but it is very inefficient because it runs on every single object. So preferably we don't do that. I mean, one option is to just have a physics shape that grabs a list of objects that can be passed over, you know? I mean, maybe that would be better. I'm not sure how the performance on that would be, but we could try. Let's give it a shot. So what are we at right now, FPS-wise? We're like hanging around 80. Usually 70, 85, 86. Sometimes it peaks up, but let's say 85. So hey, Noodles, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. So now I'm going to add a rectangle shape in. We will set this to the size of, let's just say function physics process 2d.shape.size is equal to the size of our viewport, which I guess is how we want to do it. Viewport rect should just be the number of pixels in game, I think. Then we're going to print out what that is, right? Because maybe the issue is not the margin, but it's like pixels are not the same as in-game pixels, right? Maybe that's my miscalculation here. Because it could be that those are on-screen pixels, and on-screen pixels are way smaller than they are in-game, because in-game we're like zoomed in 4 times, right? I don't know why I can't call that shape on a null instance. Let's just restart the game. Yeah, I mean, that could be the issue. Just trying to think of a way that we can optimize the number of, you know, things we actually have to call. Because sometimes it's pretty inefficient, obviously, to loop through every single thing in the entire game. This is not a not a very great thing to do. Just wait for everything to kind of load in. Now, it seems that Shapecast is not super efficient. It's kind of slow. And I would have to set an enormous number of max results, so it might actually, in this case, just be faster looping through. Okay. Now, the next thing that we need to do is, instead of getting our box viewport rect, there's got to be a different kind of viewport rect I can get. Like, maybe on the camera, we can say... I want to see what kind of functions there are in here that we can get. Get limit, get screen position. And there's get screen center position. That's what's odd too. Like, if this is too large, it still should be working, as far as I know, with the margins and stuff. It would just be obscenely huge, right? Because I think it is working with the zoom. Like, we could just print out in function process box.size. That does not want to work for some reason. Why does that not work? Let's restart the game, I guess. It's probably gonna crash though. I don't know, it's just odd. I mean, setting the margin does... Maybe the issue is that margin's not taking into account my zoom level. That would actually kind of make sense. Maybe that's the issue. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so that's our margin, which seems fine, and then as we zoom in, you can see it change. But definitely this is not 400 pixels, you know what I mean? That doesn't seem correct. Node global position. Right, there's no way that that's correct. That's not 400 pixels. I wish I knew what the resolution of my camera was, right? I don't know. I mean, what does a camera 2D have here? I wish there was like a, you know, I could get the size of this thing. Custom viewports. Target position. I always forget that you can rotate the camera, which is so cursed. Like, what does that look like if I do that? Does this work? Oh god, this is gonna look terrible. Okay, that's not doing anything. Did I just say rotate? Rotate 1. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's actually rotating. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like... Yeah, I guess what I should probably do is increase margins depending on my zoom level. But I don't move at a faster speed when I'm zoomed out, right? So that's the thing, though. That's kind of weird. Also, I notice sometimes it feels like this is not actually updating the culling when I'm zooming in and out. I mean, it is, but it just sometimes seems like it isn't, you know? I guess that's just because of the items on the conveyors. I need to also connect that signal up. Okay. So let's just call that. Go into conveyors. You know what? We could just connect this from the player. Just up and ready. Let's go here. And then say if global dot, let's say var conveyors, or I have a variable for that, don't I? Global dot conveyors. Then I say zoom change dot connect to global dot conveyors dot, I think it's update visual. Nope, it's what is it? It's not draw items. Calculate draw. So that should fix that. I have to reload into the game. I should fix any weird snapping with the conveyor items. Hopefully. Yeah, that fixes that. What I need, really, I think, is, like, basically just dynamically changing the margin depending on my speed. You know what I mean? Because, like, if I'm moving to the left, I don't need so much of a margin over here. Whereas if I'm sprinting to the right, I want to increase the size of the margin in that direction. You know what I mean? I think that's going to make for a much more accurate... Like, because then I can set the margins smaller, but make them look just more accurate. I feel like that would be better. So, let's see. I want to say margins, and then I want to add another one on top. And this is going to be global.activePlayer.velocity. Then let's see, I'm just thinking here for sizing, right? So margins, I think I'll set back down to 64 just for testing. And then I want to do that here for velocity. So we're going to say ABS, right, velocity times 10 or something. I want to say var velocity margin is that, and then I want to print out what it is. So this is going to change our margin depending on the speed of the player. And I think that's just going to make for a more accurate margin. So that when we're like running and moving, we won't notice it as much because it's taking that into account, you know? So let's see what this looks like. So since I'm running, it's going to be increasing that margin. So let's stop printing out the box size just for a second so I can actually read this stuff. Let's clean up all that. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Okay, so that's just printing my velocity margin. And we can calculate that once. That's something we'll probably do. Not inside of every time we say set box. But you can see what that is. So it's like adding another 1500 margin on. I mean, that's obviously a pretty insane margin, so we don't want to go that crazy with it. So Mr. Situation X, thank you for the follow. Let's just try times 1. Thank you for the hydrate. Much appreciated. So that's adding on like another 150 pixels. So that should really help with the margins, because if we're moving down and we dash down, it's going to add a much larger buffer, only in the direction that we need it though, right? That's the big thing. Like if we're moving just up, we don't need to increase the horizontal margins, just the ones that are going vertical. So there should be a way that we can do some more kind of dynamic margin scaling. Hopefully. Now, instead of calculating this here, let's go ahead and set just an update colon. This is where we calculate it. Velocity margin is that. Then let's say up here, var, this margin is a vector 2. So that'll only update once every, you know, how many frames. So now we're also going to say down here, after we run through all this, print box.size. Twitch wanted me to know that my clip of your stream was the most popular clip of the year. Let's go. Nice, congrats. Pretty epic. Oh, I am still getting errors here, huh? Okay, but this gives me more information. This is on specifically Okay, so it is the research table that's probably causing most of these issues. So that's another thing that we can go ahead and just add another thing for. I had an inkling that there would be more of these, right? So get building data. Now we have get research data. Research table, research ID. Okay. So yeah, anywhere where we access that now, we're going to start changing this into mod API.get research data. Boom. Okay. Seems like all of our calling stuff is working for the most part. Let's just quit out of everything really quick and update our funny little research references. So let's say global.research table. Just access anytime where we've done those. Interestingly, that actually has more references than the other one did. Now, stuff like this, like, I know that this research will exist. So how do I say that? Okay, well, let's make this better. So we get that research collector efficiency if we have it. Then here we don't have to say that. I don't know why we're saying getting the same thing again. Just say efficiency info. Boom. Right, moving on. Multiplayer setup. There is a bunch of references in here. So we got research reference. Boom. Swap it out with that. If research reference. All right. Easy enough. And we'll do the same thing here, even though it should always return something. I don't know why I'm doing this. If global research table has... Because I could just do... You know, var... Can I say research reference, or is that going to complain? That is going to complain. Let's say info reference. I don't think I've named anything that before. Oh, it's probably just that I'm not using it anywhere. So now we say, as long as we have research reference. Yeah, there we go. And now, instead of this, we say for J and research reference. And let's name this stuff better, like, instead of just J, let's call it for unlock. Then name this one unlock. And then what is this one complaining about? Okay, there we go. Unlocks table, unlock, set it. Should be good there. All right, continuing on. Let's keep going. Hey, Scary Pastry, thank you so much for the cheese time. How's it going? Welcome in. How are you doing? Let's pop this in here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Get to research data. All right. And hopefully this is the last of these errors. We'll see though. It's going good. Nice. How goes your projects? It's coming along. This is the final day of working on Starground 0.15. It's coming out tomorrow for the Steam Winter Sale. So just kind of working on getting all these last little few things done. There's some, bugs we're fixing. I'll probably be also working on some like, whatever you call it, sound effects and stuff. There's a few things I wanted to do for that, so yeah, otherwise it's going pretty good. Yeah, I don't know why I saved this again. Let's not do that. Let's say research info. Oh, is that a different thing? Is that saying... I gotta be careful where I do that. Okay, I gotta look through here again, but like... That's saying if I have that. That's a different thing. Main research info is not the same. So I might have done that a couple times and I wasn't supposed to. Let's make sure. Also Medusa, welcome in. How's it going? Dustin, whatever you want. Yeah. God, I was doing a game jam. Oh yeah. Winter sales tomorrow. Yeah, it is. I'm excited and also not. I mean, it will be nice to get this update out and stuff, but it is also really always very frustrating. You know, because sometimes bugs happen and they're scary, but it is what it is. It's fine. But yeah, I'm excited to get. There's a couple games I've been watching, waiting to grab. There's that one that I wanted to get. It was like what was it called? It's made by the people that made Gamedev Tycoon, which is a really solid game that I recommend. So it's like an innkeeper game. Same vibe, but it's not gaming. Yeah, this should be cool though. Just looking for everything in here that was research table. I just want to make sure I didn't destroy everything in here. I just got a bonus. Whoa. So I guess Gabe just got a bonus. Crazy. I played that. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah, anyways, let's see. I know this is boring right now. I'm just going through and making sure that all these things that I replaced are good, because I realized I might have accidentally replaced something that was bad. Like this one that was bad. I did it bad. This is not supposed to happen. Efficiency info is different. Yeah, I have to say global.main.research.info. Because research info is like your current research. I should probably rename that variable to current research or something, or like something like that. I don't know, current research list, previously researched, so I don't run into issues like that, but it's fine. And then same here, this was supposed to be get research data. This ID. I probably did that like twice, so I don't want to break all my code. I need to rename myself. Minotaur Coffee Dustin, yo. That'd be crazy. 2 Dustins in chat. Wild. Okay, so that's been fixed now. Here, let's save it so I can see it update in here. Yeah, that's what it should have been. Okay, anyways, build preview. That one was fine. Buildable. That one's also fine. Calling. That one's a little beast. Global. That one is okay. Mod API is fine. Now here there might have been some funnies that I did. There's research table, get research data, those are fine. That one's also fine. If global research table has, instead I say just get the research data. And that should be okay. Yeah, that seems all good. And here I do just a few things. I say get building data. That should all be fine, and the others are just PNGs. Okay, I think we're back to where we were. Just want to make sure I didn't break the entire game, because that would be super fun. Anyways, back to what we were doing. Global research table. See, I gotta be careful that I'm actually only accessing the ones that are global research table. Like, right here, mining power, this is not the same thing. So let's just replace that line right there. Now we're good there. Let's see. It's actually, this Dustin is my inspiration. Oh yeah, for me going full name, and 2 months later merging my alias plus Dustin. Okay. Yeah, because he would show up and I'd hear people go Dustin, and I'd turn my head. I was like, okay, it's kind of cool hearing your name. Yeah. I see. That's cool. And this is going through here. What is this? So this is inside of our planet controller. So we're saying for I in a research table, if any of those researches have that. So that one's fine. Now these, though, these need to change. Global research table. So we can replace that guy to get research data. Same with this guy. This is the research table. So replace that guy. Yeah, there's a few here. This is all inside of like the research table. Oops. Research table. We got those guys, this guy. Maybe it would be beneficial to have another function for get research info too. We'll see. All right, let's save all that in research. Research. Re-search. Okay. So this one's fine. That's just saying for everything in research table set research, and that's normal. That should also be okay. We're fine there. And this one is setting unlocks and stuff. I don't think... Yeah, those will never have any issues. This one, we are getting the research table. I might as well just do that. Just to be consistent. This one, change that to... Boom. Get research data. We're almost there, guys. That one's fine. This one's fine. That one's fine. That one's also fine. That one's also fine. I was just setting all of our like lock stuff. I don't know why I say .keys on this one. It doesn't really matter if I say keys or not. But whatever. I should just, you know, get my data here. Let's just do that. So we say that and then say var research data is that. And then now we replace all of these. Requires, we got type. Make sure I don't have any more of those. I think that was everything. And again, don't know why I say keys. It doesn't really matter. Those things don't. That's true. That's true. Okay, one more check. Just want to make sure everything is happy and good. That's all good. That guy is fine. Research table, we get the data there. Buttons and stuff. All right, so that should hopefully further help a little bit more. Let's open up the game again and try it out. And then, yeah, the other thing we were messing with is the Kohler node, which I think is running fine now, so we're probably good to go with that one. Our options really with that is either we just temporarily increase the rate of updating while we're moving, but that opens up a can of worms, so let's not do that one. I think just dynamically increasing the margin should work, because it updates quick enough where I don't think you would notice. Let's try it out. Also on ready, does this update? I'll just say on ready, go ahead and update calling here, just so it has that initial, we don't see like the things not exist. And then same thing inside of the player, I believe. We want to do that. But we have to wait until the player actually exists, I think. So go into the player. Go into ready. If is authority. Then I want to connect that and also just say global.conveyors.calculate draw. So that should prevent any weird little pulling things from happening. All right, so now you can see, I don't see any major snapping. Sometimes there's a tiny little one that happens, but otherwise I think we're mostly good. And I think this is with a relatively small margin. It's only 64, so it's not really too bad. You might see some culling with like, I mean, occasionally you kind of see it. Probably just because the culling hasn't had enough time to like update its margin, I presume. Maybe it's the fact that like you're able to, you can see how often it updates down here. It should be every 0.3 seconds. Because I guess moving like this, you probably get to the edge in less than 0.3 seconds. So sometimes you see culling snapping. So that's the only thing. Sounds wise. Whoa. That's crazy. We can stop printing the box size. I think we're good on that. Yeah, what's good, though, about having a smaller margin is that if we are just stationary, right? And especially if we're on a normal zoom level, something like this, it's going to mean that the game's going to run better because we have a smaller margin. Fewer things are actually marked as being visible. Yeah, I mean, you can see zooming in and out and stuff if you, like, move and zoom at the same time. Actually, that will override it, so we should be fine. Yeah, you see some minor, very minor snapping happening. So we could just increase the margin probably just a little bit more by default. Maybe up from 64 to possibly 96. Or we just kind of have like a... Maybe we could do some dynamic, like, updating depending on the current speed of the player, you know? So how could I do that? We could do function process if global dot. Actually, this would just be owner.velocity, right? Dot length. Sounds like those words I'd have. I know we got a lot of random terms being thrown around. So I just want to check if my velocity is over like a certain value. Let's get like var speed is equal to abs owner.velocity, right? And then that's like how much we shave off. So I want to say something like, I don't know, how do we do this? Like length. Let's just start printing out what we're calculating here. So save that. Might have to reload the game. Unfortunately, I do. So I thought I turned off verbose logging. I did. Then why is that still happening? Does it just do that now? It tells me when I'm loading in resources and stuff. Which I don't know why it's doing that, honestly. It's a little weird. I was pretty sure that I turned that back off. Forgot I have a custom main loop. Delta smoothing. Should all be fine. Yeah, I don't know why it's still printing out a bunch of crazy stuff. It's a little strange, honestly. Maybe that's just like an editor-specific thing that happens. I'm not really sure. Okay, anyways, let's print out our speed and stuff. I have to relaunch the game. Wise tree. Any other bugs people have been experiencing in particular or anything? On the experimental branch specifically. 1,000-yard stare. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I will work on that soon. I just I have a lot going on trying to get Starground ready. So we'll do that next stream. I'll write it down and put it at the top. Wise tree, 1,000-yard stare. Because I really want to lock in on getting this update ready. Okay, so that's what the value we're getting here is now printing. I basically just want to say, change the wait time on our timer depending on that. So we get our speed. Maybe I would just want to say 300 divided by that or something. And that's getting infinity. Because we're saying something divided by 0. Which, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. We need to reverse it. So 0 divided by 300. So that gives us 0.5. So we could decrease the timer by 0.5, right? So if we're moving around, the time of updating essentially doubles its rate. So we can just divide it by that value, I think. I guess we need to keep that at 1. I'm just thinking how we want to do this, right? I guess we could just say all of that plus 1. And that would work. Alright, so now it's 1.5 times, and it trends back toward 1. Oops, don't make that invisible. So that'll probably work, and then I can just continually update the timer wait time. Is equal to, our base update time times speed. And I just kind of want to see what this does. If this is actually going to update more frequently then. So inside of our timer update calling, I just want to say right here, update. If you see Dustin again, let him know. I will do that. So you can see it's just updating every 0.3 seconds, and then now that we're moving, it doesn't really seem to actually change the time at all. It seems to be getting worse. Oh yeah, I shouldn't be saying times, I should say divided by speed. Oh, yeah, let them know I said thanks, I will do that. There we go. So now it's updating faster, the faster I move. And then when I stop moving, you can see the updating is much slower. So that should just make for a more optimized calling, I would think. So if I go like that, it should be updating, yeah, more frequently. My FPS is sitting pretty nicely. We're actually just like consistently at 100 now. Before we were at like 85, 86. So that is actually a big improvement, it seems. Yeah, setting the margin smaller does really help a lot, so that's the reason I really wanted to... obviously, when we're moving around, our FPS drops because we're doing stuff, but stationary FPS is much higher now. Which is good, because if you're just like, you know, in an area building some stuff or not really moving very much, it'll help with FPS. And I could even drop the base update rate, right? And this is another thing we could do. We could increase the rate at which it increases, and maybe only set that to point, or set it larger to like every half a second instead of 0.3 seconds. So you can see it's really slow when we're just stationary, and then when we're running around, it'll ramp up quite a bit. I think I did see a little bit of snapping there. I don't want to get it too low. I think where we were at before was fine. Let's stick it with 0.3. New song, yes sir. It's Persona, right? Now we can like set really fast move speed. So you can see obviously it's going to be a little funny as we move around, but you can see it's not that weird. Like things are updating very quickly. You can see how fast it's updating down there, right? So it's actually pretty normal. I do want to set a limit on the speed here. I think this has to be clamp F. Minimum, I want to do 001. And maximum will be the base update rate, which is 0.3. Which actually then, don't set it there. I need to set it here. That, minimum 001. And maximum is the base of 0.3. Just so we don't get any weird values that's, you know, not supposed to happen. Because timers are specific. If you do a value that is too small, timers just stop working. So you do have to make sure you don't set that time to like 0, because it'll just start behaving really strangely. Now the only things, I haven't made these changes to the conveyor polling, as you can see. You can see how that's working. Like it's not updating properly. So I do need to do the same thing to that as well. Hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. It's literally just this. I missed a question? I don't think so. We're just talking about what the song is from. It's from Persona, right? Persona 3? I don't know if that's right or not. Let's see, I'm just looking for where we do our calling. It's like update. No, this is not the right conveyor. That's conveyor. We need to go conveyors. All right, so this is where we do calculate draw. I think we already have a process event in here? Which we do. We're just gonna add this in here and then set our timer. Which, how do we actually do our timer? Oh, is that just up here as a... Create conveyors. Let's go to ready. Okay, we do have a timer called calling timer. So we can just set that guy right there. Calling timer.wait time. And then do the exact same thing that we did also here. Oh, and this has to be a global.active player, then if active player, then we do that. Let's go do that inside of here too. Alrighty. Yeah, Persona 3 on the PS2 specifically. Oh, okay, nice. I might change this to physics process. Because I only need to check velocity every physics frame. At least really I should. Well, it's okay. It's fine. Just keep on process for now. And then the final thing is actually increasing the box area right here with our velocity margin. So the place I calculate that is here, inside of our Not draw items, but calculate draw, we say right there. And then we need to add velocity margin. Or add there. Then this is where we increase our margin. So by default, that'll be set to 64 like the other one. And then we literally just do the same chunk of code in here. Where, hurry up and save. We say this plus velocity margin. And that should be it. I hope. There's also a new song. Chicken Factory? Or the one right before this? Yeah, that should fix our item calling now. Yeah, that should also further improve stationary calling performance as well. One before, yeah. Okay, so let's walk around at a normal move speed. The thing that can highlight calling issues is dashing, so if we like go boom, don't see any issues there, which is good. So yeah, I think we're set. Hopefully that should fix all of the calling issues. Doing that dynamic like velocity scaling and stuff. Calling does really help a lot with performance because Godot is very unoptimized in terms of its calling. For some reason, visible nodes, even if they're not on screen, are still being drawn. So it tends to tank performance a lot. I don't know why it's like that, to be honest. But it is what it is. So I want to test on a larger save. Progress bar for the length of song would be cool. We could add that. Maybe we'll do a little side quest right now and do that. So let's search for a big save, like this one. I just want to see how the performance is. Yeah, in the overlay, I mean. Yeah, not in Starground. Wait for it to load up. It'll load eventually, one day, 1 year. All right. And I just want to make sure I didn't leave in like any erroneous print statements. That's already got an underscore, we're good. So how's performance on this save? It's not good, but it's not bad. Now, this save does have some more calling quirks, just because of the delay. When you're really like lagging hard like this, you're gonna notice the calling more, which it's not a huge deal. You don't notice it really with movement, but with zooming specifically, you might see like a little bit of the items and stuff at the very edges like that, if you're zooming in really fast. I think it's just because it takes like a frame between the camera updating position and sending the signal that the scroll zoom level has actually changed. You know what I mean? So there's like one frame in there where it has to update, and normally you don't even notice it because the difference between each zoom notch is very small. But when you're running at like 1 FPS, like really low like this, you're gonna see a little bit of a little bit. But, you know, honestly, I don't think people change their zoom level that drastically and that often. So normally just walking around and playing the game, you're not gonna notice any issues, even on really low FPS. So we can do some basic profiling here, just see if there's any weirdness going on. That should be fine. Watched Randy recently, and I wonder why there would be things you can't automate in an automation game. Yeah. Like, which things in particular? Are there things in Starground like that? Or are there things in... Oh, with fishing? I mean, it's just because if you can automate fishing, it kind of... I feel like ruins a little bit of the, you know, I don't know, what's the word? Because the thing is, too, Starground's not purely just an automation game. It's, I guess, more of a sandbox than anything. I think it's just because being able to automate fishing makes it extremely difficult to balance, because the issue is you end up with like fishing manually is much more time consuming, but it's so not efficient compared to just automating it, right? So it kind of just completely destroys the point of ever fishing manually. That's the issue, right? The only way I think it would work is if automating fishing, you weren't able to sell fish that were gathered through automation, you know? That would probably be the only way that it would actually feel fair. Because otherwise, I would have to keep the economy in check. I'd have to either completely devalue fish, which would just worsen manual fishing even further. Right? Or change the value of fish depending on how it was acquired, which is technically doable, but I don't know. It's one of those things, you know? It's hard to say. Stuff like that is always a very... Balancing is complicated. If Starground was just pure automation, I think definitely the obvious answer would be add in automation for fishing. But fishing right now doesn't really, like... There's nothing in the automation tech tree that requires fishing. So automating fishing wouldn't really like change automation unless I add on a bunch of recipes in the automation for fish, which there just isn't any right now. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think of the proper way to design it, you know? It's not like a technical limitation thing. It really is like a design constraint. Like that's where the difficulty is coming from. It's really easy for me to add in automated fishing. But I just need to, if I were to do that, I need to do it in the right way. To where I don't ruin a whole aspect of the game. Because I don't know, I think for me in fishing, like, I really like the gambling aspect of manually fishing. Like you have your rod and you're sitting at the lake and you're searching for fish yourself. Then when you do beat the mini game and get the fish, it's very like rewarding. It's like I have accomplished this quest of getting this fish. When you automate it, it's just kind of like number go up, which is fine. Obviously some things you want to be able to automate, like resource collection, because it's extremely vital for automation. But fishing to me is one of those things where like, I don't want everything to be automated. I don't know, maybe like really end game we could add in something like that. Just for quality of life. If you've researched and done everything and just don't want to bother with manually fishing, then I could see the reason for that. Something else we could potentially do is make it so fish that you gather through automation are always like the base value, and the same, like the smallest size, but when you catch manually, you can get fish that are larger, that are worth more. So that's kind of another way that you could balance the value of fish. This is hard to say. Yeah, I don't know. Or automating fishing, you can only gather up extremely basic fish that aren't worth anything. Like something like that would be fine. If it was kind of like a different kind of fish, you know what I mean? Whereas manually fishing, you get like more rare kinds of fish. I could see something like that happening. I don't know. I mean, did you have any ideas for what fish would actually do inside of the automation tree of Starground? Because I think that's the thing that matters the most, is like, if I were to spend the time to add in a system like that, I would want to make sure that it's worth it, I guess. So this is complaining, I can't find velocity? Why would that be a thing? Process at 276, well that's not real. I think that might have just been a funny moment. I think that was before when it crashed and I was saying owner instead of, yeah, that's most of what it is. So this is saying this is an unreachable, oh yeah. Whoops. We have to fix this. Yeah, I have to do that only if we have the args. Otherwise, it should run that line. And then it's complaining about a million different deltas that aren't used, which that one is not used, so I don't even know why it's complaining. All of these are not used. Okay. Invalid comments. Deleted is never used. What is this inside of conveyor tunnel? Yeah, I could probably get rid of that signal now, unless other things use the deleted signal. I'm not sure how that was set up. I'll just not break it for now. Oh yeah, we were gonna fix that thing with the cheat value transferring. Let's go do that, because I'm tired of it happening. So, here. Let's stop running 2 instances just for a minute. We do want to do some more multiplayer testing, but... and also, yeah, let's add the little progress bar to the overlay. It should be really easy. Because I can probably just say get stream.get remaining time. And it would be really, really quick. Let's do it. Why not? So we got this stuff. We can just add a little tiny slider. Or not a slider, we do the progress bar. What happens when this text gets too long? It should expand, right? Yeah, it does. Just making sure. Now, don't show percentage. We'll just make this a thin bar. So maximum value is 1. And then we have value here like this. Do we want that at the top? Don't really like how it looks. Maybe we will drop that. Also, I thought I changed the canvas snapping on this project. Did the overlay just stop working? Oh, I guess it did. It's like pixel... Snap controls to pixel is off. Weird. Maybe it just keeps that setting on in the editor, which is fine. So how do I want to position this stuff? I hate to have to re-reference everything here, you know? Also, this has to be a very specific size, because this is like a hard-baked image, right? Yeah, progress at the bottom would be better. Well, I can add a V-box in here. Put the H-box in. Then the progress down there like that. Music's up having any features. See when it's over? No. It's good. I like all the new music. This should be inheriting... Doesn't seem to be. Anchors. I guess I can't set any scaling stuff here. That's fine if we have to redo it here. It's no big deal. Let's change this back to position then. Here, set that forward like 24. Then make sure the size is the same as this size, which is 54. And our progress bar, it doesn't have to be this huge. We could probably set the sizing. We could put this inside of another H box, like this. And I don't know why it went invisible. Oh, because it's not on expand mode. And then add some spacers or whatever you call it. Separators. So we can put one at the beginning over here. Make it invisible. And then just expand this so that the other one is good. So do that, and then we can set our stretch ratio. 0.5, 0.4. And I don't like how close up this is. I feel like it should be further down. So I'm going to set on the bottom, decrease the margin, that it's more like that. And then we have to fix our texture rect over here. Be the same size as this guy, which is 44. How's that look? The only thing is it's really hard to tell where the background is, so let's go ahead and set some custom backgrounds. Styles, background. Oops. New flat texture. Black. Now it's a little easier to tell. And make it corners. How does that look, guys? And we can make the top one also, for consistency's sake, a fill box. Like this, with a border. It's really tiny. Hold on, let's increase the minimum size here. Say at least 4 pixels. What do you guys think? It's crazy, right? Let's drop it to 3 pixels. Hopefully it's like visible on the overlay, we'll see. Alright, so now we're just gonna go up into main. And then just go to process. And say progress bar dot value. Also, now there's gonna be a bunch of errors. Like this we have to re-reference now. Unless I had this as an export variable, which would be the smart thing to do. Music label. I may have done that. It might be cooking. We'll see. Anyway, set this to... I think I can just grab... background music, wherever that is. Background music dot stream dot... Then I can like say get current progress or something. Audio stream dot get length, so we know how long it is. But I have to know what the current... Yeah, get playback position. Okay, let's just do that. Let's see what this looks like. Ready, guys? Can't wait for it to crash. It's gonna be super cool. Okay. That was an epic fail. So playback position must be in terms of seconds. What is audio stream playback? Seek is playing. Well, anyways, let's just do this then. Background music dot stream dot get length. Should be correct. So we get the total length divided by current position. It should be the other way around, actually. I don't know if this is gonna work. That seems to work. Game embedded not available when the game starts maximized. It is like snapping a lot. I think I know why. It's because of the progress bar. We have to set the minimum value that it can increment by. Step is 001, but obviously that's not enough. So let's do 0001. There we go. You can also just set maximum values of length. I mean, that's true, that's true. But I don't know, I always like keeping things in terms of 0 to 1. Because then I know, like, the percent of, like, how complete is the song. You know, in case I reuse that somewhere or something. So, but I think it's fine. Also, I might just decrease the alpha of this a little bit, because it is a little, like, distracting. Well, that's too much. Let's go up to, like, 150 alpha. Maybe even less. 100 alpha. What do you guys think about that? I will set a little bit of a margin, though, down at the bottom, just so that you can see the bottom of our play box here. So margin, this guy, let's do like 2 or 3 pixels. Let's do 3 pixels. Then we have to reset this. So 46, set this guy to 46. All right, what do you guys think? So now we know how much longer the song goes on for. Another thing I would have liked to do at some point is to have the ability to show who the artist is. Or like at least where the song is from. That's another kind of big thing, so. But I don't know, it's okay. Maybe one day. Yeah, music command, it returns the info. That would be cool. The only thing though is I would have to go through all of the audio files and actually like add data in for those, which since we have like 1 billion songs, it would take me a long time. I know, it's data table, but it's a lot. It's a lot of songs. Unless I could make it so you guys can just contribute info for me. I could add a command that lets you guys insert an entry into the database if you know where the song is from. So. Nah, you just use a command to do it. Yeah. So if you know where the current song is from, you just say command song and then put in the info or something. Or like set info, set song info. I could open source it. The only thing though is like legality of that though. I don't think I'm allowed to open source music that I don't have the copyright to. All of this music is not, yeah, right, that's the problem. I can't include the actual song files or data of the songs in there because I'll probably get in trouble. But maybe one day I would like to actually open source the entire overlay. Well, I could maybe open source the data. I just can't include the files to the songs. That's, I think, the thing, right? So yeah. You guys would have to download that yourself. That's okay. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Anyways, what were we on about? Oh yeah, we wanted to fix the where if you have cheats enabled and then you make a new world, it's still enabled. I kind of want to fix that. Okay, so we just loaded into this game. Cheats are off. Maybe the table you get from a text/JSON file. I mean, I know there's ways to get information about songs, because one thing that I think is interesting is if I play a song in like Media Player, it somehow retrieves the artist and all the information. I think there is data stored within each of these files about that kind of stuff already, right? So there's probably, yeah, the metadata. So I could probably somehow retrieve that data. I just never have tried or know how. But I think I can go into like properties and there's like details. A lot of them don't have any data, which is unfortunate. But some of these do. I think the Starground ones do. Like it should say in here data, yeah, Ben Pittman as the creator. And some of these others might also, it just depends, like TNT Mart, does that show Animal Crossing? No. So I would have to unfortunately go through though and add in all the metadata to every single song in here. So it's unfortunate. mean, you can see it's like loading the album cover and stuff, so I know that some of these do have information. Yeah, and it shows the contributing artists and stuff. So, there's ways to do it. I just have to, if they don't have any metadata, just go through and actually add it. That would be honestly the best way probably to do it. Instead of having to write your own data table, just include it with the metadata. I mean, that's how every other audio player does it, so why wouldn't we do it that way, you know? It's annoying though to have to add in metadata, but it is what it is. Anyways, let's fix this new game thing. So I want options to always be reset when I go back to the main menu. Actually, good idea. Yeah, I think it could be the best way to do it. Just thinking how I want to do this. So let's go into here. Do your songs have metadata? I don't know, but if I downloaded them from SoundCloud, I think they do have metadata. We'll look at that. I want to find ready in here. Player ready. All right, so right here, what we're gonna say is, I think it's global dot sheets enabled. Just want to set that to false. I actually want to do all of this inside of like enter tree or whatever. I do game reset, so why don't I? And okay, it might just be a simple, only reset if loading another save on game. Why do I not reset that stuff? You know, I just shouldn't do it that way anymore. Right? I mean, you don't want to load into a save and then it copies your... It just seems bad. So now if I load into here, ABBA 4, it should reset everything. But it's going to load in my pre-existing settings, so it should still have cheats enabled and stuff, which they are. Now if I quit and I make a new game, those should be default. Yeah. That's probably how you want to do it. Alright. So that should be better. I don't know why I did that before. I mean, I shouldn't be resetting, like, any of that stuff. Lobby type cheats. Yeah, I don't know. I don't freaking know, man. I don't know why it keeps printing out this information. Maybe I just need to restart the editor. Maybe verbose is like something that needs a restart. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's try it. Well, should we add those things onto the overlay then? I am curious to see how we can grab that info. Who knew it was a secret overlay day? They could probably say like audio stream, then somehow get data is meta stream. Okay, that's not what I want. There's no like get data, is there? But like I bet on each one of these, like audio stream MP3, I probably could say like get data or something. Data? Loop offset? I could look it up. Bandcamp does not do metadata automatically? That's too bad. Go get song file metadata. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. I have to read it as byte array and then parse it. Well, it looks like there's some assets for it. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a little bit of a hassle, so we'll do that another time. Because I got bigger fish to fry. But it would be a cool idea. Maybe we'll do that. Let's get into cool. Sometimes it gets a little too chilly. It's really windy outside. It's crazy. Every once in a while, a massive gust of wind blows in. All my stuff goes everywhere. All right. Oops. I closed the overlay, guys. My bad. I thought we were in the Starground thing for a minute. Okay. Yo. Deadlift soundtrack? I do want to work on Deadlift really soon. I know I've been slacking. My apologies, guys. Well, it's not that I've been slacking, it's just that I'm like freaking busy with this silly game called Starground. Maybe I could do that for the eyes to make them look evil. No, it's hard to tell what's going on then. It's fine. What is this? Parse error. Busy. Cat bomb. Did it just fail to load that scene? No. It's here. Okay, I hope this stops printing out all of the verbose now. Because I don't want to clog people's logs up with a bunch of verbose garbage. Because then when they send the logs to me, it's gonna, I have to filter through all the billions of lines of code. Okay, looks like we're fine. It was literally just that. Ah, man, some of these languages are pretty out of date, like this one. Is that Norway? It's one of those. Denmark? Denmark's a town, isn't it? No, Denmark's a country. One of those. It's very out of date. Only 48% translated, which is pretty bad. I need to go through and translate a lot of these or something. I don't know. It is a little annoying. Like, obviously, no hate toward anybody that's helped translate it. I very much appreciate the translations, but it's just one of the limitations of doing community translations is that eventually things will go out of date. Because somebody comes along and translates a language, but then I add more stuff into the game and now it's not translated anymore, you know? So, it's a little bit unfortunate. I guess things would be different if Starground was more popular. You know, you'd just have more people translating. So you probably wouldn't get issues like that, having massive gaps. But it is what it is. One of these days, I think once we get closer to like 1.0 and stuff, I'll probably like professionally get most of our missing keys translated and just like fully translate the game. Maybe even add in a few languages and stuff that would be nice. So hey, Zafencer, welcome in. How's it going? What are you up to? Alright. I think all this stuff seems pretty good. I'm just gonna start running around the new dungeon and like just do some testing, see if there's things that are missing. I know that the drogs do need some more sounds, I believe. Also, this is bad. It just crashed. Okay, I shouldn't call free on this, I guess. Call Q free. How much want me to translate some stuff? Yeah, I mean, you're totally welcome to. I think I've got most of the new keys in the table. I don't know. I'm sure there's a bunch of keys I haven't put in yet, so... That's one thing I wish I like made a better system for, I think, is some way of like whenever I put a key and automatically add that into our table, you know, just to make translation easier and more up to date. I don't know how we would do that. I guess I could have a custom function that's like whenever I define any kind of string, I define it inside of a function that just returns the string, but also adds it into like a table of strings that need to be translated. So like obviously in stuff like this, I don't translate this, but if we ever have like any kind of key anywhere or any text, I put it in there. The only issue is there's a lot of strings that are not defined in code though, and are just, you know, written into a rich text label and stuff. So the only way to do that is to, I don't know, do some kind of weird custom rich text label that translates it for us or adds it to the table. I don't know. But it's fine. So, okay, this is the thing I want to fix here. So we had challenge chest does not have a building ID. So let's fix that. Let's say building challenge chest. Just so that these things are defined. I'm building challenge chest. Object path. Challenge chest. Object size like 2 by 2 or something. Challenge room chest. Hidden is true. Don't sync on multiplayer. We should be good to go. So yeah, there's probably a lot of things like that, a lot of buildings that I just don't do that on. So I need to stop doing that. Looks like everything is translated in Czech. There should be some new keys. These are all translated, but there's a lot of new description keys that I don't think are translated yet. Stuff like this one right here is not translated. Like these 3 here are not translated. So there are more general things in here that I do need to put in here. So, you know, be on the lookout for those eventually when I get to it. Oh, you're looking only at the end, yeah. The way I add things in is I usually just categorize them. Maybe I should just stop doing that and just keep everything at the end. Any new things? I mean, what do you guys think? Would that be... For all the people translating, would that just be easier if I got rid of these spacers and didn't organize it and just put every new thing at the end? So that we don't have to keep going back up and looking at what things are untranslated? Is that preferable? Because it doesn't really matter the way in which these are added, you know what I mean? So, okay. Well, then we'll do that from now on. I'll get rid of these spacers and stuff and just, yeah. Let's delete this row. Delete that row. Yeah, because I kind of had an inkling that that would probably be a little bit easier for you guys. And there's also like a lot of issues with the Turkish translations in here. I don't know what is going on with these, honestly. Like, what is this key here? The Turkish stuff is kind of a mess. It is used to melt ores and convert them into ingots. So this is the key for furnaces, but it's on Dreadcap for some reason. And this one obviously is Dreadcap. So yeah, there's some major issues here. And same with this one. I don't know where this one is for either. Collects nearby resources with drone bees. So that's the key for collectors. But why is it there? You know, it's just a little broken. I'm just going to plop these down over here. So that's the furnace. That's the collector. I need to go through and fix all those. It's a little annoying. So, furnace. Let's find that. Key building furnace. And then, but it has a different key in here. So, like, is this the one for the furnace and that other one is the foundry? You know? This one just translates as, it creates various resources from the materials. I really don't know. That sounds like it's the crafter. You know what I mean? Then what is this one? Generates electricity by consuming fuel. It's a mess. These are all out of order. So we really have to, I have to go through and figure out how to sort all these. It's the only one, as far as I can tell, that's broken like that. It's just, it's a mess. I have to basically just remove every key and go through and resort them, I think. I don't know how else to do it. Also, let's continue extending our auto translations and stuff here. I hate to auto translate. You know, I don't want to. But I can't have a million missing keys, because then somebody buys the game and expects it to be fully supported. And then they're going to be like, I can't understand the game. Which is, of course, a big problem. I don't even blame people if they leave a negative review for having missing keys, because it is extremely frustrating. Like, I don't want to play a game and not and it not being in English, even though it said it was. That would suck, you know? So yeah, I need to go through and get these all translated. Is it really easy to actually move something in Google Sheets? It'd be better if you use some software specifically meant for translation. Yeah, Crowdin is the one that I've heard about. Maybe we will convert over to Crowdin at some point, because I don't know. I know it's designed for translation. Maybe we'll do that. Also says that it's AI powered. I don't know why it's AI powered. I don't really want to use AI, but I'm not sure how it works. Maybe it just does AI translations as a base, and then it goes through and or you can go through and replace them with real translations. I'm not sure. The only things as long as this doesn't cost money. So we're allowed to have up to 60,000 words. I presume that means keys? Hopefully. I just don't want to, like, be like, oh, you can't add any more keys, and then Starground's untranslatable, because that would suck. I know it is a very common thing to use for translations, so. But see, it's like, what is this? Developer translation requester role. Maybe we don't really need roles or whatever, but. So we can only have public projects, which I guess is fine. Workflows. I don't know much about it. I use only sparingly for DRG translation. Yeah. We could definitely look into it, though. Maybe I could just make an account and set it up and just see what happens, you know? See, like, what is this? I don't want to pay $50 a month for this. That's a lot of money. Well, I'll make an account, and we'll figure out how this all works. Let me do the... Just do that as my password or whatever. Can I do that as my username? I guess so. Nope, I can't. Let's do that then. Let me create my account, please. Okay. I've made an account. So I guess we can create a project. Starground. I can make it private, so I guess it's fine. Source language is English. And let's see, what is the difference here? Centralized string repository. Source content. Export available in selected formats. That's kind of sounds like more what I need. Okay. And then target languages. We've got This is gonna take a while to go through. Czech, Spanish. Well, there's a lot of different Spanishes. We'll just target general Spanish. And then like Portuguese, Brazilian, and regular. We can just go through our list. The only thing is that it has to be a specific format, the way I export it, you know? So hopefully that works. Because I want to be able to define a key that's different from what it is in English, if that makes sense. German. Polish. NL, what is that again? I don't remember what NL is. Netherlands. Which is like Danish, I think? Filipino. Oh, there it is. I just spelled it wrong. Chinese. And this is, I think, Hans Chinese is simplified, right? I think simplified is the normal, or like the Chinese most people use. Now the only issue is like, I don't know if we're able to do, what? Okay, there it is. I don't know if we're able to do custom languages and stuff, right? We'll have to see. Korean, French. Oh, custom languages right there, yeah. Italian. Danish. What is DA? Shoot. NL is not the same as Danish. Then Latvian. Czech. What is NL language? Netherlands. What is that language? Oh, Dutch, right. Duh. And then we have to do a couple custom languages. Like, medieval. And the code is just medieval. To MDV. Left to right. One other, one two other, one few other. What is this? The plural forms? I don't know. Can I just save it? I have to have a locale code. What's the example? I can't read it. English something. I don't know what that is. The dialect of... It is a dialect of English. A, B, C, D, E. Here it is, English. Oh, and now it changes it. I really don't know. 0, 1, 2, few, many other? I guess. We'll see what happens. And then we have the meme language, which is another dialect of English. And locale is meme, sure. I don't know. It's the same there, I guess. Alright. So, are these in here? Medieval meme languages, yeah. Oh, then also EDK, which I have no idea what the plural is and stuff of that. What did I just do? Did I just close my tab? Did I really just do that? Oh, it's so cool. I just lost all our custom languages, didn't I? No, they're fine. And then, what was the other thing? Oh, yeah, we have to make EDK. Which I don't remember what the full name of it was. Oh, Edican. It's not a dialect of anything. I don't know what the locale code is, so... Also, I have no idea what the plural form is, so whatever. Okay. We'll do the onboarding app. Translation memory. Right about that right now. Great project. Your trial expires in 14 days. What trial? This is the garbage that I don't want. Like, what trial did I even sign up for? How do I not do the trial? Can I undo my trial? I don't want to do stuff in the trial and then realize that I can't do it. Can I just get rid of my trial? Where's my account? Upgrade account. My account. Starground. Is it because Starground I set as a private repository? Can I change its mode? Public project. QA checks. Then all this AI stuff. And this is pre-translation. I think that would be good. Insufficient balance? Okay, awesome. I have to buy credits. No, it's all good. I mean, the other option is that we just do this through GitHub, you know. The only thing, though, is it is very convenient for me to auto-translate this stuff to Google Translate on Google Sheets. So that's the only thing. I mean, I do think Crowdin, it's the one that I've seen all over the place, you know. So, like, I totally see the reason why you would suggest it. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's a little funny. There's always a thing, though, with programs like this, you know, it's just exactly what I expect, is that there's always hidden ways that they get you. Where it's like, okay, you have the thing now, and it's totally free, totally, with a big wink. And then they're like, actually, if you want to do anything that we promised to you, you have to buy our credits. So that's the only thing. If I was throwing a bunch of money into it, it would definitely be good, I'm sure. But, you know, I don't want to spend any money on this. That's a great way to go broke. But it's fine. It's free to waste your time. That's true, that's true. Well, I'll keep going through and doing all this stuff. Yeah, from now on, I'll just make it so that all of the new keys are at the bottom. Like I do with the general one here. Because, yeah, it'll probably just be better that way. I do agree, and that would be a little more convenient. Yeah, there's so many keys in here that are not translated. I have to go through and fix all these. It doesn't matter if the medieval ones and stuff are lacking translations, because they're not like real languages. It's just jokes. So those ones don't matter, but all of these ones that are actually real languages I do want to fill out. I know Google Translate is not going to be the most accurate translation. I'm sure that it's very not accurate. But it's better than not being translated at all, that's the thing. So. Who made the joke ones? Well, that's just, I think I started that language out. I don't remember why that language was created in the beginning, but it's just like, it's basically just English, but, you know, replacing everything with like stupid garbage. So. But yeah, anyone's welcome to always add stuff onto there. It can be like inside jokes and whatever. The meme language. A lot of these are stupid. Like Mountain Dew for water. So. Anyways, let's see. We got Turkish here. This one needs to be fully extended. Same with Danish. This one's pretty out of date. Luckily, it's pretty easy to add on these Google translations. Just say DA, and then that's on line 237, I think. Oh, shoot, that was line 236. Yeah, I gotta make sure I don't accidentally Logger Hub. Apparently that's a word. We should be okay here. Obviously these are, I'm sure a lot of them are stupid. So again, if you guys see that things have been auto-translated in here, feel free to replace them. Like these are placeholders. They're not meant to be like, you know, final. Of course, if it's accurate, then no need to replace them. But if you guys go through here and do see these auto translations and they're wrong, then yeah, feel free to get rid of them. I think for now, just Google Translate's probably, or Google Sheets is going to be the most convenient way to do this. I don't know. One day I would love to do like my own program for doing our translation, because then we can add on all of our stuff and we don't have to pay any money, which is important. So maybe I'll look into that. Yeah, next project. It's something, you know, I'm always going to need to translate any game that I make. So it's one of those things that where I think it will pay off for sure. We don't really have to worry about like user authentication and stuff, because I'll only just give out the program to people that, you know, actually have permission to use it. So, I mean, it shouldn't be that bad. Big White Translation's official, yeah. It would be cool also to just make it as an open source project. Is TransFX still a thing? I can look. Looks like it is. It's just, I don't want to have to pay money for this stuff. Like what we just did with Crowdin. It's like, okay, here's your stuff. It's totally free. And then a massive asterisk, only for 14 days, then it's $100 a month. So it's just like all this stuff, I have to have credits. Whatever, it's like, it's just stupid. I don't want to pay money. But yeah, anyways, for TransFX, looks like it does cost money. I don't see a free version. Starter is $160 a month. So that's completely not feasible for me. Like, that's out. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes when it comes down to stuff like this, I always just think my own program is going to be the best option, because I don't have to pay myself money. I wish there was some kind of open source translation tool. I don't know if there is or not. I see a ton of other game devs having to deal with localization, not enjoying it. Yeah. Just use AI. I mean, that's basically what we're doing right now with Google Translate. But I always think that real translations are always superior to AI. Because people that actually speak the language are going to understand the intricacies behind a language way better. Like, all AI does is it picks up on a pattern and makes guesses as to what that pattern should continue doing, right? And sometimes that works really well, but then other times it ends up hallucinating and making up garbage. So that's why I don't really fully trust. Like, the translations I think are mostly fine as a base, but I would never, you know, I would not completely want those to be the final version of it, I guess, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. But yeah, I could probably, what I could do is make a Godot program. It'll automatically fill out our database with all of the translated keys. And then for the translators, all you would have to do, it would be extremely simplified, is just it says, hey, this is a word that needs to be translated. This is what it means in English. What should it mean? Or like just write in what the translation is, you know? Just as like the simplified way of going through the translations. And then if you want, you could probably like have some kind of spreadsheet view where you like this, where you can actually see all the translated words, like view the database, you know? But that would be a pretty nice way of doing it, I feel like. Just making it extremely easy for the people translating. So yeah. Maybe we'll look into something like that. And as far as how, like, the database stuff will work, I've never really done, like, databases. So I'm not sure how that would work, but I could probably... There's probably free databases. Free database. But I want, like, an online... I mean, obviously, there's ones that are, like, free up until a certain point. Like, we could do Firebase, I think, which is Google's one. And I think, as far as I know, this starts off being free until you hit, like, a certain amount of traffic. But I imagine that we'd probably be well under that limit. Yeah, it's like this stuff, we get up to a gigabyte of storage, which for text is practically every word in the universe, so I think we should be okay on that. Then document writes and document reads, these are all nothing. Like plenty for our cases here, I think. As long as this is something that I can use, Cloud Firestore, whatever that is. So we can look into that. And there's like real-time database stuff, which we don't need. So Cloud Firestore. And hopefully we can just access this with like HTML or whatever. Or not HTML, but like doing a... Yeah, just doing an HTML request to upload, like a post request, should be really easy. So how does this work? Okay. Add data, get data. Yeah, something like this would probably be the way to do it. I mean, I would look this up specifically with Godot, just so I could figure that out. But imagine that there's ways to do it. If anybody has suggestions, always let me know. But yeah, I would like to do that instead. And also something that would just be nice about that is eventually I think we'd build up so many different keys that we I wouldn't need to translate other games. Just having basic stuff like play and options and quit, like all of that stuff would be standard for every game that we make. So like if we make a new game, there's probably only a couple more keys that we would need to add on top of that. And maybe even making all of that information, all of those translated keys, a public open source repository would be really cool too. You know, so that anybody can use them to translate their games. Stuff like that would be pretty cool, I think. I mean, maybe I could just set that up using just using GitHub. You know, we could just have a public GitHub repository, and the way that we set up our translation program is you just log in, you have like your GitHub password and or token or whatever stored, and then all it does is just send a commit request, you know, once you're done with your translations for the day or whatever. That would probably be the easiest way to do it, because GitHub essentially is a database if you think about it. So maybe we'll look into something like that one day. Yeah, Transfix was like that. I guess it still does, but for open source projects, yeah. Yeah, it's too bad that the base for that is $150 a month. Like, if I was a massive AAA company, I could easily swing that, but that's a lot of money, man. That would be thousands of dollars a year, right? Like, oh my god. $1,800 a year? That's a little bit too much money. I mean, I don't know. Probably not worth it. Not in the current stage I'm at. Sure. Man, for 150 bucks a month too, like, I would just rather make my own solution anyways, you know? Even if it does work well and is worth the money, I still don't want to just waste it all. And I feel like I could make something probably as comparable. I don't know if it would have all the same fancy AI stuff, but you know, that's okay. All right, so one thing I'm noticing here, these guys don't have any sounds, the Drog. So I would like to work on some sounds for those guys. Yeah, I used to self-host it for some projects back in the day. Yeah, nice. I think that's definitely the way to do it. Okay, so we need to add sounds to the Drogs. So that should have been calling properly. I don't know why the calling is just weird sometimes. I don't know. Like when you do big zoom outs and stuff. It's not a huge deal. I mean, it's just minor things like that we'll continue to fix, but I thought I said on death or whatever, it forces a calling update, but maybe not. Since it was open source software, that's no longer the case, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that sucks. This is why I don't like companies, period. But really, like, with programs and stuff like this particularly, like, it's the reason I switched away from using Unity, because I don't want Unity to ruin my livelihood one day for profits. You know, that's stupid. It's why I like Godot, because Godot is open source, and I'm never going to have to worry about it not being available or being privatized and sold for money or some weird garbage fees. If there's anything like that that ever happens, I can just download the source and stop, you know, use it myself. Like, that's the glory of open source, is that you're never going to be left with an unusable piece of software. So that's pretty important to me. And there's no fees. Unity does have a bunch of fees after you make a certain amount of money. And like everybody says, like, oh, it doesn't matter and you're never going to make that much money. But I don't know. What if you do, though? And now you lose on $1 million. That would kind of suck. especially for someone like me that wants to do it full time. It's not like I'm just doing this as a little hobby thing and don't care about the money I'm making. Because I do kind of care. Obviously, I care more about making a fun, cool game first and foremost, but, you know, the end goal, I guess, really is to make a living. Well, that's not the end goal, but it's the means to the end, unfortunately. Still self-host the Mozilla one? Yeah. On Tune. Okay, there's just a GitHub repository. That's cool. Yeah, something like this could work pretty well, I imagine. It would be nice just to kind of, yeah, this looks pretty good. You can get like a dashboard. I'll look into this one for sure. If I can just host it myself, that would be a pretty good option. So. By the way, yesterday I played an awesome demo for upcoming 3D platformer named Big Hops. Okay. Check it out. Big Hops game. This looks pretty neat. I like the style of everything. I always do like this style. I don't know like what you really call it, but it's kind of like sort of like painted. Like all the textures are very kind of, I don't know how you describe it. Handmade, it feels like somebody went here and actually painted old, kind of cell shady, yeah. Yeah, like definitely the cell shading. Yeah, for me always it's like specifically the way the textures are done, you know? It's got a lot of like, I don't know, just character, little, everything's painted, you know? I mean, it's hard to tell how much of it is really procedural versus actually hand-drawn, but like stuff like this, you know, these little blobs and scratches, obviously these were drawn hand by somebody, so I always think it just looks really good. Yeah, 3D whimsical. Yeah, I don't know, like, I feel like this is like a type of art style, I just don't know what it's called. But yeah, it looks nice though. This looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. You said there's a demo? Yeah. Big Hops. I can give it a look. Keep that open in the background. Just want to make sure there's a new stuff in here. No crashes since I moved my game to the Windows drive. Interesting. Just say, well, that's good. Definitely let me know if they continue. I did go through your logs, and I think I found a few things that would have potential causes of crashes. What is this? New message in the publishing chat. Oh yeah, it says Grant telling me about the post here. Yeah. 5 furnaces, 5 crafters, 2 researchers. Okay. Yeah, I think we already fixed those issues. I'm pretty sure what it was just the fact that we statically typed the dictionaries and we were trying to retrieve things with something that wasn't a valid string, right? Because if I say research table.get null, and I pass in null as the key, it's gonna scream at me. That's why we have our custom mod API function so that doesn't happen. It's okay if you are absolutely certain the thing you're passing in is a string, but otherwise I just don't want to run that risk. That's why it's just easier to have the function do it for me. So if it ever is a null thing, it just immediately returns null instead of trying. I need to clean up this place, bro. Yeah, this save is so messy. It's like there's like crap everywhere. A lot of this was just from like testing. Like I don't even remember what all these guys were there for. I think that's some rotation issues I had with those. That's what that was about. But like all of this stuff, I think this was all just testing the new conveyor belt system. I know some of this was testing rotation, Like this stuff here, I think, was that. Surprised you don't have a test world yet. I mean, this is basically my test world. I just have all of a bunch of different stuff here. So, I mean, I've never really felt like I needed, like, you know, I guess like a dedicated test world. I don't know. Most of the time, it's like I just want to test a very specific thing. So I just build it really quick. And especially now with creative mode, it's extremely easy for me to test little setups. Because, like, if I want to mess with some conveyor belt stuff, I can just be like, all right, boom. Plop down a little setup, and then... Oh, that's a bug that I need to fix before we commit those changes. My test world is definitely more of a test world, yeah. I mean, maybe one of these times I'll actually create a dedicated save for stuff like that. Like, and just create a bunch of little setups to make sure they're all working. So... let's see, I need to go back into the player... And then for down in here, just say buildings table. No, not buildings table. What am I doing? So toggle UI, I realized I got rid of right here. What's that again? Let's go into here. Player code. So I got rid of this one little section where I just said and not build preview visible, which causes a billion errors, not a billion errors, but you know, I just need to say that. So that fixes that, but I want to make sure that this is, I might have to do two separate ones. Because I just don't want to be opening up the research menu when I press. I guess what I could do actually is I just specifically need to know just for that one. Right? Because that's the only one it actually matters on. All the other ones should be okay. Because when I have a building out and I press R, I don't want to be opening up my research menu. So, but otherwise I can open up the build menu or my inventory or whatever. So it should be good. That's been fixed. Do you have a debug delete block / machine so that you can reliably keep belts moving? Yes, I did actually build that recently, or add that into the game, because I was testing that. I have this item generator and item destroyer. There's buildings just like that in Factorio too. But it's really simple. All this does is just instantly delete anything that goes into it, and this just infinitely copies whatever goes into it. So I can just pop down like a Voltrum ingot, or I have to have at least 2 in there or whatever. And now it just continually generates new ingots in here, and this continually deletes them. So yeah, I added these 2 in recently. These are only accessible in creative mode, so if you say game mode creative, you get access to building these things. Yeah, I made these when I was testing out the new conveyor belt system, because I was tired of, you know, the way it was before. So I noticed that our little left and right click icons are different now on these. I mean, it's not a huge deal. It's fine. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I was getting tired of having to keep spawning items in, so this is just a really easy thing to add in. And I think it's also just useful for other people wanting to test setups. You know, if you pop into a creative world game, it's nice to just, like, you know, place down a build, set up all your conveyor belts, and then instead of worrying about how you're supplying it temporarily, you can just use these guys, right? And just fill it with the items you need or whatever in here like this. It just makes it a lot easier to set up and test different builds before you actually build them in survival mode. So, but yeah. I do want to add another option in here for enabling creative mode right from the beginning. It would kind of be a good idea. Like in new game, I think it'd be nice if I just had a game mode option thing here. So I can just choose creative mode. Maybe I'll do that. Anyways, let's yeah, easier to test flow production rate of machines that way. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe I will add that actually. Should be easy. I just go to the options menu, or the world options actually. Then I duplicate this, or I'll just copy it, or make a new one actually. And make this a options button. And put that beneath this. And add 2 items. Normal. Creative. You think you'll add blueprints? I have already added blueprints, yeah. We have those in the game. Basically, it just lets you select a region, and then you can go through and right-click on the blueprint buildings to instantly build them. So it's nice. You can copy a setup and then just plop it down and kind of give you like a framework. It works a little bit like if anybody's played Minecraft stuff, Lightmatica. It's kind of just like this, where you can copy a schematic and then it gives you like kind of an outline of where it is, so that you can just go along and really easily build it without having to like, you know, design it again. So, but yeah, works pretty well. Yeah, I'm glad I added that in because it's kind of, I feel like for an automation game, sort of necessary to have blueprints. So we got an ad starting soon. My apologies, gamers. Reselect. No, don't do that. So we've got normal mode and creative mode. You can say selected by default as normal. Okay. And now I want to change, so let's see, what do these scripts do? That just changes. I'll copy that script. Rename this to game mode. Make this extend option button. All right. So now we're going to say, I think we have global.gamemode or something. Where do I store game mode? Is that inside of the active player? Yeah. I'll just have a thing up in here that's like starting game mode. Or call it game mode override or something. Game modes would by default be equal to game modes dot normal. Okay, so yeah, another person noticed that issues offender. I don't know what's causing that right now, so that is something that I need to figure out before we push this new update. I don't know why they're being offset. The way that the new flooring system works is it creates a new tile set for every kind of floor tile. The thing that I could think of why they're being offset is that the world size data is not being set before it calculates its offset. So I might just have to delay that offset. Hopefully that fixes that issue. Yeah, I am aware of that problem. Hopefully we can get that figured out. Why does this have, oh, it's on toggled for itself. I see. So I want to say item selected, connected to itself. So here, instead of saying that, I think I want to say, what is this? Selected. So global.gameMode override. Normal. Stat creative. Okay. Did I add creative mode in 0.15? I guess I did. All right, ads are over, by the way, guys. Sorry about that. Reloaded and it's fixed. Yeah, it's very weird. I don't know why it does that, but it's got to be something just wrong with the position of the tile sets is my guess. If you do notice it again, try and go into remote view, assuming you're in the editor, and see what the position is of the tile sets. I actually noticed in the newest version of Godot, the remote view works again. It's not, I remember like in the older version, just 4.5, it was like super laggy and I couldn't use it. Doesn't happen anymore. It actually runs okay. So they must have finally fixed the issue with that. Okay, now this one I want to say global, oops, game mode override dot, or is equal to game modes dot normal at the do match index 0 1. All right, so we're gonna do this stuff, and I guess I'll save this setting. We'll have to figure out how this is all gonna work. Man, I'm like really hungry. I'm like so hungry I feel kind of like shaky. I need to eat something. I haven't eaten anything. Let's see, I want to go into save game. So down in here, we have all of our options. Cheats enabled, explosion griefing. We're just going to add a new one here. I'm going to sort of separate them so I can... I'm going to call this game mode override. Let's call it game mode. Okay. So that's going to set that. Just thinking how I want to do all this, right? Oh, and let's also make it load. So that's saving. Now go into load game. And same thing down here. We say right here. World data.get. Game mode by default will be global.gamemodes.normal. And then we just say right here if, oops, override, oops, it's equal to global.gamemodes.creative, then say global.has cheated is true. All right, so the way I want to do this now, how do I do inside of my command, like set game mode or whatever? Okay, I literally just set game mode. So this must be a variable that's synchronized. If I look inside of the player. Must be a server synchronization. Yeah, game mode. Okay, it's only happening with the first save that you load. That's interesting. We'll have to figure out what's going on there then. Let's see, game mode override. I think I want to just have a function here that's like function set game modes. So let's go down here. Thank you for the spin. I'll call this set game mode override. And then for ion, what about main? How's it going, K-Mac? What is going on? Or for world dot, or let's see, how do I do this? Get peers or whatever. So I can just say var player is equal to get node or null 1 at global.world. Dot game mode is equal to say type player if player dot game mode is equal to global, or I mean global game modes dot creative. Oh, we're saying here game mode. For what tile map should I look in the editor? So the tile maps for flooring are generated dynamically. If you go into world.gd in here, I have made some change. Actually, yeah, all the new changes should be on that branch 0.15 final. This is where I create the tile sets dynamically. Each floor type has a different tile set. So there's a tile set for a tile map layer for each unique tile and each unique region. So for example, Viridian has a list of wood, plank, carpet, snow, and Opus has its own set of wood, plank, carpet, and snow. It's just the best way to do it since region positions are kind of different, or like the 0 point. But anyways, I set the position right here based off of the generation size and the region data location. So my guess is that I'm just not getting the generation info size and time when you load a save. So what probably happens is that it says, when it does this, it thinks that the generation info size is 0. So it doesn't offset the tile set position properly. That's my guess. I think that's probably what's happening, but we'll, I want to do some testing with that and see for sure. See if I can replicate the problem that's happening, so. So let's do this, ID. If player, we say player.gamemode is equal to game mode. So that should set everybody's game modes now. Oh, and I have to convert that into a string. Thanks for the... Thanks reminder, on the server, I revive the comms. Okay. So this is probably only on saves with, yeah, pre-existing floors, because a new game doesn't have that problem. Yeah, it's either that or it's because when you make a new game, it instantly sets the world size, right? It instantly knows what it needs to be. But then when you load a game, it I think it creates the world before you actually grab the you like load the data of the world size. That's probably what's happening. I bet it's a pretty easy fix. We'll take a look at that in just 1 second. I want to make sure this set game mode stuff is going to work whenever we change our game modes. So yeah, new save doesn't have the problem, and I think that's because of the way that the world is generated is slightly different. So let's go back into our world options menu. So whenever we change this now, whether we're in game or not or anything, I want to say on items selected right here, instead of setting this, I just want to say global.set game mode override. So you can still use the commands to kind of change your game mode that way, but if you just want to say like set everybody to a specific game mode, just say we are playing creative mode now, you can do it that way. So we'll do all that. So in set game mode override, we're also going to say global dot, or we're in here already, is equal to game mode. Make this type of game modes. Okay, hopefully this works then. So if I'm in game and I do that, it should say set game mode override. I could just run a function. Maybe that's the way to do it here. Technically, I could run the command. I don't know, we'll wait on that. This should set everybody's game mode. And then over back inside of where we were doing that in our loading sequence. Right here. Just want to set that game mode override. And then after everybody is loaded in, I want to run that function. Or I guess we'll just set that there, and then as soon as a player joins the game, we check what it already is. So on ready, if we are the authority, we say game mode is equal to global dot game mode override. Now we save that. And let's try it out. I think player scene does save that variable, doesn't it? It does save game mode. So I don't always want that to be set. If you set a command, thank you for the hydrate, there we go. How's it going? Oh, drop my water bottle. It's fine. So how do I check if there's already a thing that's been saved? I guess I could just say... I don't know, I wish there was a way I could do that in save component. Because here it like sets all this information. Load dictionary. Right, for string and data, this is where it does. Why do I not save active quests? Yeah, I shouldn't just even bother saving that anymore. I don't use active quests. So let's see, Oshiki, send me a message. Ayo. We'll check that out. Here, let's pause the music and listen to that. Boom. New track dropped. Yeah, I like that intro. I feel like a little bit better. Well, it is different. Maybe I could just check if this already has it saved. Because it has a list of variables. So I could just say on the player, I could just grab my save component and say, right, if save component dot variables dot has game mode, or if it does not have game mode, then we set our game mode to game mode override. So we could try that. So let's see if this even works. Another Oshik banger. Yeah, it's the Deadlift main menu track. It's just modified a little bit. So now I can set our game mode in here, which that was not happy. Yeah, I have to say if we're in game. So if I set it to creative mode, let's try this. So new game, we're on creative mode. Let's try it. Also, we have to make sure that variable gets reset in here. So if we go into here and we go to game reset, just like right here where it resets the settings, I need to say global dot game mode override is false, or not false. Game mode's not normal. Like that, placing the floor only one at a time is a bit of a pain. I do want to create a system for being able to place multiple tiles down at the same time, like in Factorio and stuff. So that is planned. It's just kind of like one of those things where I know I'm not going to have time to do that right now. So that's the reason why I haven't done it. But I really would like to do that, though. It's weird, though, that it didn't save my... Let's try this again. New game, creative mode. Is it because it's overriding the setting or something? I'm not sure. Because now it says it's in normal mode, so obviously something's not right. That's what's happening. Yikes. So I do have to say, if in game, there's a reason we had that there. But I just want to say, let's see, when we first load into here, I should say game reset. That should be okay. Now we want to call game reset and then say that we're in game. So false and true. Just to fully reset everything. So what I think the song, I think is epic. I like the new changes. I think, yeah, I just gotta throw it into the project and see how it works. But I think it should be pretty epic. The only thing I would say is that, I guess it'll just keep looping. Unless you, like, have a specific loop point somewhere in the song, you know? So it'll do that, like, initial opening thing every time. But yeah, otherwise, I think it should work pretty well. Here, am I calling game reset somewhere else? Load game. Exit game. Oh, I am right here. I just have to say true on that. They get rid of this one, which is in ready. Yeah, I could probably find a loop point. If I just go through and scrub through the song and find a part where, like, I could loop it. Because with a loop point, what you can do is, like, have, like, a little... You do have one? Okay, cool. Well, that should be feasible, then. Because you can have the little intro part, and then it doesn't play that part again, and just repeats from the part after. So, that's a pretty easy way to do it. Oh, yeah, also, let's... resume our music. Okay, so let's test this. If we're on creative mode, boom, this should keep us on creative mode. Yes. And you can see I am not in creative mode. Awesome. So why doesn't it keep us on creative mode? On ready, right here, I should say... If I don't have game mode, which is true, then it should be equal to whatever our global game mode override is. Let's just print in here. From the end to 24 to 25 seconds. Okay, cool. I will do that then. So this should have reset the settings back to creative. Start. And then I printed this out here. Okay, it didn't print anything, so for some reason... okay, I see what's going on here. So save component always is going to have variables game mode there. I need to see if it actually has been loaded with anything, though, right? So what I need to check, I guess, is, like... in load dictionary, right? That's what I need to know. I think I might just add another variable on here, which is var loaded vars. And this is going to be a list of, you know, X string array. So only stuff that has actually been loaded. Just so I can know what has been set. And then in load here, right here for string and data. And if variable's not null, I say set parent, and then we're going to say loaded vars dot push back string. So back inside of the player, I can just check now if loaded vars has game mode. Then we know that game mode has already been set before, and we don't want it to follow whatever our setting is. So let's try this again. Creative mode. It should properly do it now. And yes, I am in creative mode. So now you can just immediately play a game in creative mode from the very beginning. Which is good. And then if I set this back to, in here, back to normal, it should turn me back into normal mode, which I am. Epic. So yeah, should work pretty well. Yeah, it unlocks everything regardless of what you have in your research, so you don't need to worry about these and stuff. I think that means... Actually, I don't know if blueprints get unlocked then. I might just have a thing in the beginning. If you launch a game in creative mode, it'll immediately unlock all of the research. Maybe that would be the play. We have a function already for that. Because I can just say research all. So let's do that. Let's go to whenever we're loading our game. And then we can just check like on fully loaded right here. We can check here. And if is server. We do this if global dot game mode override is equal to global dot game modes dot creative. Then we loop through the research table, set our research, and enable all of them. So watch this, guys. New game, creative mode. Boom. And then you can see everything just got researched. So yeah, that works pretty well. So that should, of course, disable if I print out what that one variable is, has cheated. It should be printing out true. Just to make sure. Oh, right, that only happens at the very beginning. Let's go down to the process. Has cheated is... Uh-oh. False. So that's wrong. I thought I did that in here, though. I say load game. Oh, I guess it's because I do that in load game. I have to go down here and actually do it in new game also. Why do I have two things here? That's is server. Let's just do that. Let's do that. And then also, do I have those settings being synchronized? I think I do. I don't. But it's really only a server-side thing. So where does has cheated actually get calculated? Looks like there's a couple different places. So yeah, if game mode is creative there, game mode is creative there. Then right here in process, if cheats enabled, yeah, has cheated is true. So let's go ahead and synchronize that variable then. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Yeah, let's just say in here our cheat status. Let's say, just call it multiplayer cheat. It's false. And down in process. This is... Oh, this is global. Whoopsies. Whoopsies, guys. Okay, back into regular multiplayer setup. In process, if cheats enabled, boom, we say multiplayer cheat. True. Let's just say if is server. Oops.